Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit or Zabby here, back again with Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. We are on episode 16, and in the last episode, it was a really good one. We had some really good world building, and it turns out that a mistress, which I believe is the first time we've actually heard what the actual land is called. It may have been like a sort of like a one-off comment earlier on, but because obviously I'm watching the dub, I don't really have the subtitles enabled for it. So, you know, if it was like a one-off comment like way back when I have no idea like what's going on, what anything is, it's possible I might not have even picked up on it. But, you know, at the end of the day, in context anyway, this is the first time I've heard it and know what it's about. So a mistress is that sort of like central, you know, basically the homeland for where everything has been taking place right now. And then it's obviously surrounded by other nations, you know, like Xing, who we got introduced to in the last episode, of course, which basically, you know, there's this whole thing with an emperor who his health is like, you know, slowly fading, and it's basically up to the emperor's kids to go out and find a philosopher's stone, you know, to basically give this emperor immortality. Though, you know what I didn't even talk about last episode in the post-discussion? The idea of giving the Emperor immortality surely means that he would remain the Emperor, right? But if, you know, if we're talking about Ling Yao, for example, just the snide little things that he tends to do, you could probably imagine him taking the Philosopher's Stone for himself. And everything like that, but you know, it's just a case of whether or not we actually go down this story path and that actually comes to fruition. I'm almost tempted to believe it won't, because the one thing about the Philosopher's Stone, well, that I think we're supposed to take from it is the fact of, you know, the Elrics getting it so that they can hopefully get their body, like their full bodies back. I mean, that's the whole point, right? So I don't see. It also seems like something that could possibly be an end goal for the end of the show. Of course, that's based on nothing than the fact of, like, it seems like the biggest true goal right now. You know, so if that was to happen, I don't think we would see anything happen beyond that. You know what I mean? In which case, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. But yeah, so we know of two anyway. Kids who are from Xing. One of them is with Scar, and that is Mei Chang. She's also got a little panda called Xiao Mei. And yeah, Ling Yao is with the Elrics right now. And also Winry. They are heading to Central. All of them are heading to Central, so I imagine we could get you know, a confrontation there. And of course, by going to Central, we're going to have the Elrics learn about what happened to Hughes, which damn it, I mean, I knew it was going to happen at some point, but fuck it. We'll just see what happens. But yeah, that's all I've got to talk about, so we're going to get straight into the reaction. As always, the reaction will be here on YouTube, but for whatever reason in the future, if it gets taken off for copyright, I'll re-upload this as a discussion video only, and the link to the reaction will be in the description below. As always, there's a link to the full length in the description. If you want to watch my reaction to this episode in full and not just the cut 10-minute version, then the offer is there for you with that link. But yeah, nothing else to really talk about, so we're going to get into episode 16, see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, Central. Made a pack.
Being spied on for hours will do that.
Where's the young lord?
It's fucked off. Oh, never mind, he's on the roof.
Something about this country doesn't feel right.
Footsteps of Comrade in arms. Just sitting there
Hey,
playing.
it's the smoking guy!
How's it going? You won a single game yet?
Not even close. But this game is boring anyway. You gotta give me something! At least bring that Hawkeye lady for a visit.
Yeah, I'll let her know that you're interested. The Colonel apologizes for having to give you such a dangerous assignment. He also says don't worry about your other duties. Your absence is being treated as sick leave.
He's like in rehab.
Holman, I found myself a girlfriend! She's been really sweet, helping me adjust to the move here and everything.
Didn't take long, did it?
Oh boy, is she hot!
Hey,
Oh, for God's sake.
Are you okay?
Food.
Where'd you come from? What's that? From Xing, you say?
Well, you're a long way from home.
It sounded like you
all right?
never said
I'll
anything.
need to see your entry visa, please.
I never
Out of the way,
thought
everyone.
about
Illegal alien coming through.
Illegal alien.
Where are you?
Fuck.
I can't wait to see Miss Gracia and cute little Alicia.
Sounds good. We shouldn't be all that far behind you.
That's all you'll be
Okay, see you
seeing,
later.
unfortunately.
I wonder if Lieutenant Colonel Hughes has put together any more information on the Philosopher's Stone since we left.
I think it's best if we give Hughes the information that we found out first.
The homunculi.
Yeah.
Ah, there we go. So
I'm
it
pretty
is
sure Hughes said he was in
plural
the
that way.
court-martial office.
Oh, running past the exact fucking phone box. Oh.
You have the key for room number 3, don't you? It's still a total mess from when I was using it earlier. It's fine. I just need it to gather some documents, that's all. No, really, please don't!
You get climbing over books
Okay
and
then,
stuff.
I can come back later for the keys. Please make sure it's taken care of.
Excuse me,
Oh,
Colonel?
right.
Colonel Mustang?
That's what she was hiding. Mustang. Because obviously he's doing his own
Hello,
fucking
Sheska.
shit,
How
right?
long was I asleep?
About 10 minutes, I think.
I'll be back.
Is that Colonel Mustang that just left?
Oh! Captain Fokker, sir! Good morning!
Fuck.
Nice day, isn't it?
What was he doing here? The Colonel.
Oh,
The storeroom door is open.
I'm sorry! I opened it, sir!
Nice.
Don't worry, I won't tell anyone.
Yeah, poor Sheska.
I really appreciate that, sir.
Getting dragged into this.
Although, I do wonder what the Colonel was looking into.
He was looking into the Hughes case.
I don't like that eye movement.
I got my job here through General Hughes.
Carry on, Sheska.
Shit. And the more people that have
Yes, sir.
access to this information that the Colonel's looking into this, the worse it's going to be, because... Fucking... Oh my...
Good morning, Sheska.
Oh no. It was fucking envy.
The 5th laboratory in the Philosopher's Stone. The stone's key ingredients are live humans. Hughes always did enjoy helping other people. This time he stuck his nose into the Ulrich brothers' investigation. If the Ulrich brothers found out what really happened to him, that he died trying to help them, they would blame themselves.
Hey guys, it's been a while.
If the lieutenant's here, that means so is...
Thanks for waiting.
Yep, the Colonel.
Well, hello, Fullmetal.
We're just doing a little information gathering. And we were thinking that we'd pay Lieutenant Colonel Hughes a visit a little later today.
Nope.
Where is he, anyway?
He retired out in the country and took his wife and daughter with him to take over the family business. Watch yourself. Don't do anything crazy.
Okay.
Now you've decided to treat them like children?
There's no need for them to know just yet. It's funny. I've accused Armstrong of being soft, but right now I'm no better than he is.
I fail to see anything soft about it. It's cruel, Colonel.
Prince looking in perspective.
Lieutenant Ross.
I haven't seen you two here in a while.
We just heard about Lieutenant Colonel Hughes.
Yeah, it's rough news, huh?
There was still so much that we wanted to tell him about.
The military gave him a proper send-off.
Wow, that was nice.
That's how it's done.
Talk about good choice of
Also,
words.
I'm sure you'll both be glad to know he was promoted 2 whole ranks.
Up to Brigadier General?
He retired to the country and they promoted him?
Oh shit. Oh fucking hell. I mean, yeah, the promotion angle doesn't...
Lieutenant Ross?
Ugh. Oh, damn it. It's been given away!
No, not the Lieutenant Colonel. Why him?
Ah, alright, yeah, he knows then.
He was murdered shortly after you were discharged from the hospital, Edward. I'm afraid we still haven't found the person responsible.
It's all my fault. I'm the one who pulled him into this. It's all my fault!
Okay, you boys have a safe trip. Stop in and give me a shout the next time you make it to Central.
The move or not?
Daddy?
No, they didn't. Fuck's sake.
Winry's already here.
Right. Winry. I'm sorry, but there's something I need to talk to you about. If I may.
About Maze?
That's right.
His death was a message. A warning to you from whoever did it to back off from all this.
I'm sorry. So sorry.
That would be just like him, dying while trying to help somebody else. My
Yeah.
husband, I don't think he ever had regrets. Not any. Not even in his dying moments, Edward. Don't tell me you're going to give up.
Otherwise, he would have died in
You
vain.
can't let what happened defeat you. If you do, then that means my husband died in vain.
Yeah.
You boys have to keep moving forward. Any way you can.
She's got an iron will, that woman.
Mommy, please don't cry.
All just want to be alone with our thoughts.
Winry, you haven't eaten yet, have you? You might want to hurry. The dining room is closing soon. Okay, I'll go back to my room. Apple pie?
That's right. I've practiced making it a few times, but I've gotten pretty good at it. I'm not nearly as good as Miss Gracia, but someday I'd hoped that Mr. Hughes would get to try some too.
So the nosy Colonel Mustang is snooping around the Hughes matter?
Mm-hmm.
We already moved him to Central, where we'd be able to keep a closer eye on him. Why can't he be a good boy and behave himself? I'd hate to waste an important sacrifice candidate.
He's another one.
Haven't been able to learn anything from your new boyfriend?
Nothing.
What you said before, about how much nicer it would be if the Flame Colonel would behave himself. How would you feel about us making another play? Well, we've got a noisy mutt. Perhaps all he needs is a nice bone to chew on.
Are they gonna send him like...
Second Lieutenant Maria Ross. I'm Henry Douglas from the Provost Marshal's office. You'll have to come along with us. Your gun.
Ah, fuck. Fuck.
You've been named as the primary suspect in the Brigadier General Hughes murder case. Please come
sake.
along.
Second Lieutenant Maria Ross, pleading not guilty on all charges.
Gather whatever information you can about her. Go now. Quickly, but secretly.
He knows that they're on him.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'd like a bouquet of these, please.
My, what's this? A hot date, lover boy?
She's not here. Oh, fuck! I didn't think! Lust! Of course!
Waiting long, Solaris?
Oh, God!
I just got here. It's so good to see you, Jean.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Fucking hell. Okay, episode 16. Fucking hell. Christ. Doesn't take long for things to go right, does it? It really fucking doesn't. But I guess I know why, because, I mean, in the last episode I was talking about, like I said in the post-discussion, about how, like, you know, because obviously it added a lot of world-building elements to the episode, and it was obviously expanding the map, and I was talking about how I would love, like, to have time in all of these different places, just to see what it's like around the world. But I talked about how this show only has really, like, 64 episodes, and on the surface, before you, like, start the show, 64 episodes seems like a lot. But I guess, like, in the bigger picture of things, it isn't really, is it? And so it makes sense for things to just, like, you know, pick up, and the main storyline is constantly moving, you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't give you much time to rest. Like, it might have, like, a sort of, like, a one-off kind of episode where, you know, every so often that, like, sort of, you know, is lighthearted, and it you know, gives you a little breather, but then the next episode's immediately back into the main story, plot points and everything, and this one was no different. Fuck. God damn it, dude. This is not looking good for the crew. the fucking the turnover for them for basically learning that Mustang's inspecting all of this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he's looking into everything that happened. He only transferred to Central like a couple episodes ago, you know, and he's already got people on his back. I was beginning to think that, like, as soon as that what was his fucker, I think it was his name was motherfucker, that when he saw Mustang leave, I was like, shit, that's bad, because we don't want other military knowing about that. And then when it turned out it was Envy, I was like, oh, well, maybe that's actually better then, because it's not going to be going up the chain of command in the military. But then I fucking remembered that, of course, Bradley is fucking a part of that group, and they can just easily tell, you know what I mean? Because essentially everything that's going on with the fucking Ouroboros group is connected to the military. So either way, it was just like a fucking, you know, if anything, it being Envy was obviously worse, because if fucker had, you know, got, like, you know, basically saw what Mustang was up to, or figured it out, he may have kept it to himself. Shit. And now it's like a case of you've got two people in very serious circumstances now. Because you've got Maria Ross, who's going with, who I'm assuming is Envy, who's playing as Henry Douglas. Interesting enough, that wasn't the guy in episode 1 called Isaac Douglas? I wonder if they were like related. Oh no, it was Isaac McDougall. All right, never mind. Just completely disregard what I said. I must have just took the Douglas and Doug part and just like assumed. Never mind. Just forget that. But yeah, I mean, we'll have two members of the crew that are in serious circumstances now. This Gene guy getting into trouble because he's following his cock, essentially. Bastard. I didn't even fucking pick up on it. I was trying to like rack my brain around when Envy said something about Lust's boyfriend, and I was like, what? I was like, what is that even, like, who is that? What? Who they're talking about? But then, of course, like, him meeting up. I'm glad I got it before she was in frame. At least I got that. But yeah, this isn't good. I think it's more so. I feel like on the surface, it seems as though Maria Ross is in the bigger pickle right now, but I would actually say that Jean is, because at least with Maria Ross, I feel like Maria Ross is the red herring, almost, like, to take Mustang's focus and direct it at Maria Ross, while everything that's happened with Lust and Jean is going like unnoticed behind the scenes. You know what I mean? So I think Jean's in a worse spot. Bastard. I didn't think the turnover for figuring out what Mustang was up to would be this quick. But this is something that's been going on beforehand. Like, this whole... I mean, because they've basically put Mustang as another important sacrifice. Like, what's the correlation? What is the correlation? Because before it was just, you know... It was Edward that was, like, an important human sacrifice. And it was just him that they were given up as like that important sacrifice, and I was, because of that, I was just thinking like, well, what is the how is that any different from any other human sacrifice, right? And obviously I was talking about how is it just the price of a soul is different for somebody who's, you know, not a bad person or what? Because the one thing that you could, a theory that works up till this moment in time, for all the information that we do have, is that you could say that the price of a soul is different for those who are good versus those who are bad, because they were using prisoners before, which obviously don't have. If we're going with that theory, would be that they clearly just don't have a good soul, so therefore the Philosopher's Stones that they make out of them are weak. So I guess that's one thing. Because the other thing I suppose you could say is that when the Ouroboros group, specifically Lust, Gluttony, and Envy, were in, what was it, Lior, I think, they were causing chaos there, right? And they were saying that this was for the betterment of the nation or the country or something like that. But I was asking why, like, what's the motive? And I wanted to know what the motive was. But if we go through this whole thing of like important sacrifices that need to be made, either for to be able to try and conjure up an actual full-on Philosopher's Stone based upon the price of a good Samaritan soul, then maybe they're causing chaos so that these good people come out of the woodwork to actually try and stop it, which increases that, like, percentage of their soul being so good that it's even. But I don't know. I can't figure out any other correlation right now until I get more information. I don't know what the deal is with specifically Edward and Mustang. Other they're the guys that are basically who we're rooting for, right? So but it seems as though this could have been going on for a while, because do you remember that flashback scene where we had, I think it might be in episode 10 actually, when Hughes died, but at the beginning of that episode I think there was a flashback scene where Hughes and Mustang were sort of alongside like hundreds of thousands of troops, and they were just looking up at Fuhrer Bradley, and Fuhrer Bradley looked back at Mustang, and it was like, even then, like from that far back, it was like seeded as Mustang. Like it's almost like Bradley knew that Mustang was coming for him in a way, and therefore Bradley must have known at some point, like because obviously Bradley has been part of this Ouroboros group for, since before we knew about it. I imagine he was looking at Mustang being like, he's one of the guys that is an important sacrifice. So he must have known back then. So they're lining up these specific people, and for what? I don't... And I wouldn't say, like, Mustang's done any human transmutation before, so I don't think that correlates into it. Like, like sacrificing somebody who has attempted human transmutation. Again, it's that whole thing about the truth and knowing about the truth, right? That could be something that is, like a knowledge is power kind of thing. Like that could be something along with it, because, seeing as Bradley is aware that Edward and Alphonse did the human transmutation, that they know about the truth. It's just it's a question of whether, like, how much the Ouroboros group knows, and you've got to assume that they know a hell of a fucking lot. You know what I mean? Like, they must know about the truth as well, so they know how important it is. Meaning that, maybe that correlates into a bigger sacrifice, as sacrificing people that know the truth. But then that would assume that Mustang does as well. I mean, he was the one that came out, right? And, like, specifically came to look at the Elric brothers and everything like that. So maybe he does know more than you know, he's letting on. It's interesting anyway, no matter how much you look at it. But yeah, I mean, so other than that, we had Barry, who is... I mean, I said it during the reaction that he's like almost in rehab. I feel like he actually is. Like, he's... Because now he's just coming across as a character who's there for, like, comic relief and everything like that. But, like, somebody who's like, oh, it's coming up at night time. Can I go out and kill people yet? And it's just like, no, you fucking stupid idiot. Of course we're not going to let you do that. I just feel like he's coming across like he's almost like in rehabilitation, you know. But I guess also the fact of like Mustang has to keep him out of the way. Like, it's not like he can actually go out and just arrest him, because then that was, you know, that's like another public, you know, like the military will know about it then, that Mustang knows about Barry, and therefore he knows about everything that happened with the human transmutation stuff. So, you know, it is one thing of just like keeping him out of the way, I suppose, as well. So yeah, getting into Amestris requires a visa, which is interesting. Not surprising though, and also the fact that they called him an illegal alien, dude. Damn, that. I mean, fucking hell. If anything you could say that was offensive in that moment, he called him an illegal alien, dude. Jesus, I mean that's like us. Like I'm saying us is like everyone who's watching this is like, you know, English, but it's like saying that, like calling a French person an alien, you know what I mean, or a German person an alien. Like that's exactly the same thing. Just fucked, man. That is fucked. Yeah, and then Hughes, of course. So yeah, I was figuring that, you know, with the pace that this show tends to move, that this will be the episode that they do actually learn it. I didn't know to what degree. I mean, that was what I was thinking before the episode started. And then once they, like, actually met up with Mustang, and Mustang give this whole this thing that, you know, that he was that he moved out, you know, to the countryside to sort of like, you know, do his own family, like he's basically getting to his family business. And I thought from then on, like, maybe we have some time in the story where they just don't know about Hughes, and then that's what happens. But yeah, as soon as you know, Maria Ross turned up, and then it was like shit. They were they were extending out the dialogue, and she was saying just enough that made sense. You know what I mean? It wasn't just straight up and said he's dead. It was just enough that you know, she could get away with, until it was like he got promoted 2 ranks. But why would he get promoted 2 ranks? Of course, if he left the military, you know. So yeah, that was obviously the one giveaway, and then that was it. The cat was out the bag then. So yeah, it's tough. But I mean, they had to learn about it eventually. And because of that, obviously, they all ended up at the Hughes apartment place. And Gracia, yeah, she has an iron will, that woman. You know, I like that. You know, that she basically got everything out. She remained strong as much as she possibly could in front of them. Because it's that kind of thing, that the shit that she's been dealing with because of her husband's death, having to be there strictly for her kid, which, you know, in some degrees is like she's used to, of course, but in a life where her husband is no longer in it, it's tough to even remain happy in that situation, you know. But she has to be strong for her kid. And not only was that, like, when they were talking, when Edward was like, he gave it up that essentially that it was his fault that he got him dragged into it, that she remained so strong to just be like, I mean, she was telling the truth, and that like that's what Maze Hughes was all about. But the fact is that she remains strong by not being that person that, you know, cries in front of them. Because if she waited to cry in front of them, like, well, that wouldn't even be waiting. If she just did cry in front of them, like, after that information was spilled, it would have put more pressure and sort of regret in Edward. And the fact that she can remain that way inclined until they leave to cry, it is huge. So, you know, like, even though Edward is still going to feel that regret, I think, with Gracia giving them like that whole thing of, you know, you have to keep moving forward because, you know, you can't stop now, because then what did my husband die for? You know, so yeah, I feel like Gracia is just a very, very strong woman with an iron will, and yeah, so that's that. It could come down to whenever, you know, because I don't think Mustang's obviously going to give up on this detective work at all, even knowing what's happening here. It's like they're trying to get him to stop. Similar with Hughes dying, wanting the Fullmetal Alchemist to back off. So it's, you know, it's kind of like it's happening with the Elrics, and it's also happening with Mustang as well. And because of obviously the sort of, I guess, duality of that, if Mustang heard those, I don't think Mustang needs to hear those words of like giving up, because, you know, I think Mustang is the sort of epitome in the show of like determination, as well as, you know, I mean, because Edward suffers with a lot of regret for certain things that's happened to him in his life. Like, he'll always have these down moments, but he will also come back from it, you know what I mean? Whereas Mustang, at least as of right now, he's never shown a moment of weakness. So I feel like he's always just gonna, you know, I don't think he would need to hear those words, for example, of like, you know, you need to keep going because all the people that died in vain. I don't think Mustang needs to hear those words. I think he's more than capable of understanding that anyway, and that he needs to keep pushing forward for the sake of those people that essentially sacrifice their lives for this. So, you know, so yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I feel like I'm just going to say that after every episode now, really. You know, because we get so much like information, and the plot just thickens and like, you know, so quickly. So yeah, very, very cool. But anyway, yeah, if you do want to get access to those next two episodes, episode 17 and 18 right now, you can do by becoming an early access tier over on my Patreon, and that gives you access obviously to reactions a week early. So it's $5 a month for that. There's also the full length tier if you want to watch any of my reactions in full and not just the cut 10-minute versions. And then there is the exclusive tier, which gives you access to movie reactions and things like that. I literally just watched My Hero Academia Heroes Rising. I watched that movie last weekend. Actually, by the time this comes out on YouTube, it'll be a couple of weekends ago. But yeah, that was really, really amazing movie. So yeah, if you really want to watch my reaction to that movie in particular, or any movies coming up very soon, then that's the tier for you. But anyway, that is all I've got, so thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.